When Girlfriends premiered on UPN in September of 2000, nobody quite knew they were watching history. Created by Mara Brockakil, the show followed four black women navigating love, ambition, and friendship in Los Angeles, and it did something television rarely dared to do at the time. It let black women be funny, flawed, successful, insecure, glamorous, and human, all at once, without apology and without a punchline aimed at their expense. The show ran for 8 seasons before ending in 2008, but its afterlife has been just as remarkable as its original run. A Netflix release in 2020 introduced it to a new generation, and in September of 2025, the cast reunited to mark the show's 25th anniversary, proving that whatever made Girlfriends special never really faded. So what happened to the people who made it happen? Here is where they started, and where a quarter century has carried them. Girlfriends followed Joan Clayton, a successful but perpetually self-doubting attorney played by Tracee Ellis Ross, alongside her closest friends. Maya, the assistant-turned-writer played by Golden Brooks, Tony, the image-obsessed real estate agent played by Jill Marie Jones, and Lynn, the eternal graduate student played by Persia White. William Dent, Joan's law school best friend played by Reggie Hayes, rounded out the central group as the show's sole recurring male lead. Over 8 seasons, the show tackled infidelity, divorce, colorism, therapy, career burnout, and motherhood with a candor that was ahead of its time for network television, all while remaining, at its core, a genuinely funny sitcom about friendship. It aired first on UPN and then, after that network merged into the CW in 2006, continued there until its cancellation in 2008. A decision creator Mara Brockakil has said was tied to the timing of the 2007 and 2008 Writers Guild of America strike. It helps to start with the woman who built the whole world in the first place. Mara Brockakil created Girlfriends partly as a response to the near-total absence of black women on shows like Sex and the City, and she has said she has always approached her career by looking for the negative space in the industry, the stories nobody else was telling, and filling it in. Girlfriends became the first of what turned into a remarkable run. She followed it with the spin-off The Game in 2006, a show she has said helped keep 3 different networks financially afloat over the years, and later created Being Mary Jane for BET. Over a 15-year stretch, Akil became the only black showrunner to have series continuously on the air for that long, a distinction she has described less as a personal trophy and more as a door she got to hold open for other creators. In 2025, decades after Girlfriends first aired, Akil had arguably the biggest year of her career with Forever, her Netflix reimagining of Judy Blume's classic 1975 novel, relocated to a mostly black section of Los Angeles in 2018 and executive produced alongside Blume herself and Regina King, who also directed the premiere episode. The series debuted in May of 2025 to widespread critical praise and was renewed for a second season within a week. At an IndieWire honor ceremony that same spring, Akil accepted a Visionary Award and joked that after more than 2 decades in the industry, the success of Forever made her feel like an ingenue all over again, even as a veteran. That same year, speaking with Deadline, Akil said she would be very open to revisiting the world of Girlfriends someday, calling the show's abrupt cancellation amid the 2007 and 2008 writers' strike one of the most painful moments of her career, while adding that sometimes the greatest pain can become the greatest joy. Tracee Ellis Ross was already the daughter of a musical legend when she stepped into the role of Joan Clayton, but Girlfriends is where she built a name entirely her own. Born in Los Angeles in October of 1972, Ross was 27 when the show began, playing a driven, self-critical lawyer whose search for love and stability became the emotional spine of the series. By the time the show wrapped in 2008, Ross had already proven she could anchor an ensemble, and the years that followed only expanded her reach. She moved into the lead role of Dr. Rainbow Johnson on ABC's Blackish in 2014, a performance that earned her a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Television Comedy, making her the first black woman to win that award in over 3 decades. She picked up multiple NAACP Image awards along the way as well, adding to the one she had already won for Girlfriends back in 2009. Beyond acting, Ross built Pattern Beauty, a haircare and skincare company aimed at curly, coily, and tight-textured hair, turning her personal frustration with the beauty industry into an actual business. She has also hosted a Roku travel series about exploring the world on her own terms. In September of 2025, Ross reunited with her former castmates for the show's 25th anniversary, and the group even came together again for a patterned beauty campaign, a full-circle moment that fans had been hoping for since Netflix reintroduced the series to a younger audience. Now in her early 50s, Ross remains one of the most recognizable and respected actresses of her generation, balancing acting, entrepreneurship, and producing. Golden Brooks played Maya Denise Wilkes, the sharp-tongued assistant turned aspiring writer whose humor and heart made her an instant fan favorite. Brooks was born in Fresno, California, in December of 1970 and was 30 years old when Girlfriends began. Maya's journey on the show, from assistant to published author to wife and mother, mirrored the kind of unglamorous, hard-won growth that made the series feel real. After the show ended, Brooks kept working steadily rather than chasing a single big break. She appeared in Heart of Dixie between 2012 and 2013, joined the cast of TV One's Hollywood Divas for 3 seasons, had a recurring role on the Star series Blunt Talk, and took on film roles, including The Darkest Minds and the true crime miniseries I Am the Night. More recently, she has appeared in Disney's coming-of-age series Saturdays, Power Book 2, Ghost, and The Ms. Pat Show, while also branching into producing and directing her own material. Off-screen, Brooks became a mother to her daughter, Dakota Tao Brooks Woodside, born in 2009, whose father is actor D.B. Woodside. Brooks has spoken candidly over the years about stepping away from acting to raise her daughter and the difficulty of finding her footing again in an industry that does not always make room for working mothers returning after time away. At the 25th anniversary reunion in 2025, Brooks was right there alongside Ross, Persia White, and Jill Marie Jones, showing that the bond built on set never really broke. Now in her mid-50s, she continues to work consistently across television and film while expanding into work behind the camera as a producer. Persia White brought a different kind of energy to the group as Lynn Searcy, the bohemian, endlessly educated free spirit who never quite settled into one identity. White was born in Miami in October of 1972 and was 28 when the show premiered. Lynn's arc, from eternal student to aspiring musician who eventually signs a record deal, let White explore both comedy and a genuine musical career alongside her acting. After Girlfriends ended, White continued to release music, lending her voice to soul and R&B projects that reflected the same free-spirited persona she brought to television. She also kept working steadily in film and television, most notably taking on the recurring role of Abby Bennett, a witch and mother figure on The Vampire Diaries, which introduced her to a different, younger generation of viewers entirely, many of whom had no idea she had ever played Lynn Searcy. She has long been vocal about environmental causes, veganism, and animal rights, weaving her activism into her public identity as much as her creative work. White reunited with her castmates for the show's milestone anniversary in 2025, and by all accounts remains close with the group off-screen. Now in her early 50s, she continues to balance music, acting, and advocacy, living a life that in many ways still echoes the values her character embodied on screen. Jill Marie Jones played Antoinette Tony Childs, the group's most image-conscious and outwardly ambitious member, a woman whose confidence often masked a genuine longing for connection. Jones was born in Dallas in January of 1975 and was 25 when the series began, making her one of the youngest members of the core cast. Tony's journey through failed relationships, a difficult marriage, and eventual motherhood gave Jones some of the show's most dramatic material to work with. Jones left the series after its 6th season in 2006, a decision that shifted her career path in ways she has discussed candidly in interviews over the years. She went on to appear in The Perfect Holiday alongside Gabrielle Union, took on a recurring role in Sleepy Hollow, and joined the horror comedy series Ash vs. Evil Dead. She has continued to work in both film and television since, taking on guest and supporting roles, while also producing independent projects. Jones was present for the 25th anniversary reunion in 2025, standing alongside her former castmates in a moment many fans had waited years to see, especially given that her early exit from the show had once fueled persistent rumors about behind-the-scenes tension. Now in her 50s, Jones continues to work in the industry while keeping a lower public profile than some of her castmates. Reggie Hayes was the one man among the show's core friend group, playing William Dent, the sophisticated, sharp-witted attorney who served as the emotional glue holding the women's friendships together. Hayes, born Reginald C. Hayes in Chicago in July of 1969, was 30 when the show began, and his performance earned him 3 NAACP Image Award nominations for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. After Girlfriends ended in 2008, Hayes kept working in television, taking on guest and recurring roles in shows, including Criminal Minds, Heart of Dixie, NCIS, Black Lightning, and Abbott Elementary, along with a 2025 role in the short film I Hate My Love Life alongside Terry J. Vaughn. In 2020, at the age of 51, Hayes was hospitalized with congestive heart failure, a health scare he later spoke about publicly, tying it in part to the impact of California wildfire smoke on his respiratory health. In the years since, Hayes has been open on social media about a significant weight loss journey, sharing his progress after facing public criticism online during a period of weight gain in the pandemic years. Fans and fellow actors, including Yvette Nicole Brown, publicly cheered his transformation as he documented it step by step. Hayes also joined the cast reunion for the show's 25th anniversary in September of 2025. Now in his mid-50s, he continues to act, write, and direct, describing the renewed attention from Girlfriend's Netflix run as something like getting a second chance to be reintroduced to audiences. Jennifer Lewis did not appear in the earliest seasons of Girlfriends, but became a beloved presence as Veretta Childs, Tony's brash, larger-than-life mother, bringing her signature comedic force to the role. Lewis was born in Kinloch, Missouri, in January of 1957, and by the time she joined the cast, she already had decades of stage and film work behind her, including a long list of Broadway credits and film roles in projects like What's Love Got to Do with It? Lewis has spoken with remarkable openness about being diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 1990, a journey she detailed in her memoir, The Mother of Black Hollywood, which was published in 2017 and later recognized with a nonfiction Book of the Year honor. In the book and in numerous interviews since, including a 2025 conversation with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson on their podcast IMO, Lewis has discussed how living with bipolar disorder shaped both the struggles and the drive of her career, describing periods of mania alongside the discipline of long-term treatment and therapy. She has become one of the more visible advocates for mental health awareness within the entertainment industry as a result, particularly in conversations about stigma within Black communities. Career-wise, Lewis found an entirely new audience as Ruby Johnson on Blackish from 2014 to 2022, a role that ran alongside her Girlfriend's castmate Tracy Ellis Ross. In November of 2022, Lewis survived a serious fall from a hotel balcony while traveling in the Serengeti, an experience she later discussed publicly with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America. Now in her late 60s, Lewis remains active in film, television, and public speaking, continuing to use her platform to talk openly about mental health. Khalil Kain joined Girlfriends in its second season in 2001, playing Darnell Wilkes, the calm, steady husband caught between Maya's ambitions and his own quieter nature. Kain, born in New York City in November of 1964, was already known to audiences for his role in the 1992 hip-hop drama Juice before joining the Girlfriends cast. After his time on the show, Kain continued building a career across film and television, appearing in projects including For Colored Girls in 2010, CSI, Miami, and Bronx SIU. He has remained a working actor in the years since, taking on roles that span both drama and more grounded ensemble projects, while staying largely out of the tabloid spotlight compared to some of his castmates. Now in his early 60s, Kain continues to act steadily, carrying forward the same understated presence that made Darnell a fan favorite on the original series. Keisha Sharp joined the world of Girlfriends in its third season in 2003, playing Monica Charles Brooks, the confident, polished woman who eventually marries William Dent, much to the friend group's initial skepticism.